Hi, Deb Pervin here for another Tuesday's Tweak. This week, we're going to talk about your debt schedule. Now, what I have seen is a lot of people don't understand the complexity of repaying debt, which is why a lot of business owners say, I don't want any debt, because it is tricky on how you keep track of it and how you repay it. So you need to have a schedule. So debt is in two different forms. You have your long-term debt for investments like equipment, and you have short-term debt, which is lines of credit or even credit cards. So long-term for investment, short-term to fill those working capital gaps, like you have completed a project for a client, but you haven't been paid, but you still have to pay your teammates even though you haven't received the revenue from your client. So that's one reason. Another may be that you sell a product and you have to buy inventory so that you can produce the product. And so inventory sits on the shelf and gets used during a period of time. Those are both short-term working capital needs. So once you've assumed some debt, you need to put a schedule together like this one to know how it's going to be repaid. Debt requires good discipline. Now the term debt, the long-term debt, you know you have a payment each month and you know how much it is. The tricky part about long-term debt is that your income statement, you expense the interest. So when you get down to net income, that's the net income on the income statement, but you still have to pay the principal. The principal is not part of your income statement, so you need to have free cash flow to make those principal payments. This is very complex and surprises people. The second part is on your lines of credit and your credit cards. These don't have a principal payment, just interest. And a lot of times these they build up and they build up and you're not repaying them. So when you're selling, when you're getting that accounts receivable in, you need to pay the line of credit back down or the credit card back down. If you're buying for inventory ahead of time, when you're making sales, you need to spend a little bit of that money that you get from your revenue paying down your line. Okay, so again, this requires discipline in both sides of the liabilities equation. Now, why would you borrow? Because you can grow faster other people's money. So we need to have a debt schedule and a repayment plan. So tell yourself, when I get this receivable back, I'm going to spend 25% paying back the line, or 50, or some kind of knowledge in your brain that you're going to do, or a strategy. Okay, when I'm buying this piece of equipment, it's going to reduce the cost of producing my product by 10%. So every time, every month, or every quarter, I'm going to pay 10% of my net income. Okay, think about it. Okay, it's on itself. It's decided it doesn't want to talk about debt. So now I want you to ask yourself these questions. Is your leverage acceptable? Okay, you're not over levered, so that you have free cash flow. Debt service, is your debt service coverage good? If it is, you have the cash flow to make these payments, no problem. Which should I pay down first? We know that credit card debt is more than lines of credit. So if you can get approved for a line of credit, do that and pay down those credit cards debts. More or less debt, it's always helpful to have a line of credit so you have a debt cushion, but you don't want to use it and then not pay it down. How much should I have? Depends on the size of the business and what your working capital needs are. These are things we talk about in Bomba. Can I expand with debt? Absolutely, as long as you're disciplined. And that helps you when you have some debt available that you're not using for your current projects. That really helps you be ready for opportunities that come along the way, like buying a competitor or hiring a great salesperson or finding a streamlining your business with a great platform. So you have to pay attention to capital markets because the cost of debt changes and it's critical to that repayment schedule. Okay, Deb Pervin here. I hope you learned something in our Tuesday tweak, and I'll see you next week.